House of Dragon versus Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
To be honest with you, I think the House of Dragons. All right, so the House of Dragons is having, to me, a better pacing. The start of the season it's moving at a faster pace. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is very slow. But again, I know where the end game of Rings of Power is going, and there's nothing I'd rather see more than the Second Age War that's going to happen. That's fucking sick. So if they get to that point and the show, continues all the way there with the 5 seasons, there's no way, there's just no way that Rings of Power, showing all that, building the rings, having a big Second Age War, the Lord of the Rings talks about it all. There's no way the House of Dragon is going to be better than that. Because you already know House of Dragon is going to be as well. You already know it's going to be the fall of the Targaryens, and you're going to have a sad ending. Ooh. I'd rather have Rings of Power all day.
Your thoughts on the two shows?
I got a lot of shit.
Go ahead. Let it out.
Both shows, to me, number one, they're all right. But if I had to choose one, it would definitely be Rings of Power 100%. House of Dragons hasn't gone anywhere. It's not doing anything. There's no, plot to it. There's no, action. There's no, nothing has really truly happened. The costumes... Okay, we're going back. House of Dragons goes back 172 years. The costumes are the same. There's nothing different. There's no different wardrobe. There's no different talk. Nothing has changed. There's no I don't know. Nothing has actually evolved. Everything looks exactly the same. All right, the music, I can't stand the fact that they still kept the same exact song, the same theme song.
I agree. I hate that too. No creative. No creativity.
It's not creative. It's just same song. Dumb. I've seen that horse scene at least in 40 different movies. 40 different movies. There was okay, that's all they can actually offer, and they give you the dragon for 2 minutes. Okay, toothless. They give you toothless for 2 minutes in every damn episode. Okay, I don't care for the characters. Honestly, it's just okay, whatever. If you ever notice, have you noticed the fact that they haven't really gone anywhere? There's the same rooms. You got the dining room. That's all you ever see. Them talking in the meeting, the little meeting room. The guy eating with his daughter in another room. And him in his quarters, another room. At least let me see him take a shit somewhere.
Maybe in the next episode, they'll just hop in their car and they can go. They can take a road trip if anything.
At least Lord of the, whatever the fuck it's called. I'm tired of the confusion here with the Lord of the Rings show. Okay, yeah, Rings of Power. At least they give you some entertainment so you can actually be on your feet. Oh damn, that shit was pretty dope. Damn, that shit was pretty cool. That first 5 minutes of the Rings, Power of the Rings, Rings of Power, whatever the fuck. The first 5 minutes of it was better than both the episodes of DreamWorks, just because of the fact that it actually gives you more details, more action, more excitement, beautiful scenes, beautiful areas, good things to look at, pretty little areas that they're filming. I would say Rings of Power.
Would you like a glass of water?
What you got?
Right now it's House of Dragons. Just, not by much, but I do want to say from the beginning, comparatively, House of Dragon and Game of Thrones doesn't even touch it. Game of Thrones is way better in every area. Same thing with Lord of the Rings as compared to the films of the early 2000s. I'm not crazy about it. I think that the dynamic between the scenes that were filmed in episode 2 between the dwarves and the elves, the whole rock smashing scene was pretty cool. I think their acting is terrible. I think the sets are very cookie cutter. They're way too clean. The lead, which I don't know the actresses or the character's name because I was asleep, but I don't, okay, I get it. She climbed the mountain, ice mountain with a knife, a butter knife, killed a giant snow creature, which if I'm not mistaken in the original films, that same sort of creature almost kills Frodo. She killed him in 2 slices and she was out of there like it was nothing. Like Jeremy Jan said, spraying, raid on ants. So the show is very anticlimactic. It's boring. There's some decent action scenes. I thought the scene with the orc and that woman, I don't know her character's name. Okay, we get it. Yeah, you killed the orc. Now,
if you want a dragon to come by,
as compared, we got it.
Do you really think House of Dragons is going to top this show when it comes down to the long run? Being real, the sets look. I know you said they look cookie cutter, but you could tell they put a lot of money into the show.
Well, the problem. This is the problem with your question. I would say I don't know because the House of Dragons, Game of Thrones, what made it great was the script and the acting. And House of Dragons, the script and the acting's okay. Will it hold up for 5 seasons? I don't know. I don't think so. Where is the Peter Dinklage? The main thing with House of Dragons that's kind of bothering me is the main king right now.
But forget about the king. You already know the guy's gonna die. Eventually, either the brother's gonna kill him or somebody's gonna betray him, stab him in the back.
I will say Rings of Power. you can show that they paid for the best CGI. 'Cause it is excellent CGI. I mean, it looks real.
No, yeah, of course. But House of Dragons was CGI. They're in the bedroom the whole entire time.
Well, here's the thing.
They're filming in the bedroom.
Okay, what do you like more, the Lord of the Rings films from the early 2000s or the Rings of Power?
That's a very stupid question. Do you like Game of Thrones more? Do you like House of Dragon more than Game of Thrones?
It's never gonna beat the originals from both sides. Both shows are not gonna beat the originals. It's
Okay,
just
but
not
what do you
gonna
think
happen.
about them being the same? They're not doing anything different. Same music. Like they haven't done anything different.
It's the same.
Same clothes.
It's the same, but it's not.
Lannister gave the clothes to the other guy.
I wouldn't have mind the same with House of Dragons, but it's just not as good.
But the same clothes and all, like you're telling me that they haven't really like
I don't know if they have the
progressed.
same- why do you keep asking with the clothes?
172
I don't know.
years.
What do you want the guy to
and
be?
they haven't
Dolce
progressed.
Gabbana? The elves have a fade and blow.
He's got a fresh fade, fresh cut.
He's got a fresh cut, and he's
There's a
going.
barber that we don't know about. I don't know.
He's got a one on the top.
And what medieval times do they have the clothes so ironed?
Oh, they
The
had-
iron line. They take it to the laundry. They take the elf laundry.
I'm more interested in seeing how the rings are made. God, can you imagine if that final shot is the ring going into the water, going to the bottom of the ocean, and then you start Lord of the Rings 2,000 years later or whatnot? Here's the problem, right? This is what House of Dragons wants to do. It wants to get you invested into the characters. Where you're like, hey, look, did you like these characters enough? Because they're all going to fucking die or go away. Do you care? Do you care about any of the House of Dragon characters?
Zero.
Do you care about the little girl? Do you care?
Do you care about any of the Rings of Power?
Not
characters?
yet. Not yet.
I
but,
don't either.
Did you
To
care
be
enough
honest.
to fall asleep?
But not yet. But it depends. Where
That's the thing that sucks about it. You already know they're all gonna die. Like it's
Yeah,
just
but
like,
it doesn't. It
you
doesn't.
get what I'm saying? Like the House of Dragons, I'm not as invested into the House of Dragons
even those
as I am
dragons
into
are
the
gonna
Rings of
die.
Power.
You know that all the dragons are gonna die eventually
Because
too.
I know with the Rings of Power, like, okay, you're trying to show me this, these new characters, the elf with the fade. You're trying to show me him. Like, am I going to be invested into this character? Right now, I don't care for him.
Do you know-
Maybe down 2 seasons.
do
2
you
seasons,
know-
I
do
actually
you-
love this character.
Okay, so we've
Shit,
all.
Does
So
he
we
die? Does he
so
live?
I actually like the.
All right,
the
so
dwarf.
we've all, and we're gonna leave this part. Okay, we've all loved the original Lord of the Rings films by Peter Jackson, right?
100%.
Do you know that the showrunner for this show, basically by Peter Jackson's admission, ignored him?
Yeah, I know. It's very stupid. I read this.
So exactly.
He went out to them and they didn't call him up to come
Okay,
in.
but what does that have to do
Well,
with-
you want his professional opinion. You want him to be on set. I mean, the guy made fucking one of the biggest, best
the
trilogies
last Lord of the Rings
ever.
made $1 billion and won 14 Oscars.
Yeah, you gotta have
but
that guy
ever-
on
and
set.
one-
That's-
even
that's
if you look at the
fucking
critics,
stupid.
okay, that's fine. I don't give a fuck who writes the script at this
Nah,
point.
you want
if
that.
it's good, it's good. So what? Just because let's say hypothetically, someone like that doesn't really know about anything about scripts. Or know about who's directing it, or know who's writing it. You think he's gonna give a fuck? Oh shit, this guy's not watching the show. Oh, this guy's not writing the show. Oh damn it! You know what? I'm not gonna like it now. No, he's going based on what he likes and what he sees.
Well, Jack, what if instead of the guy at Amazon hired that probably cost Amazon $5 to hire, instead of getting him to do the show running, which is basically the guy who makes the decisions for everything in the show, they hired Peter Jackson. But here's the problem: Amazon, instead of now spending $60 million an episode, which I believe is the number, right? Guess what happens? They have to spend less on CGI, and they got to pay Peter Jackson a lot more. If that happens, right now we're not having a conversation. Right now we're looking at each other and going, well, Rings of Power is by far the best show, because the guy would have created a tremendo show.
Okay, but either
So
way,
that's
it
why
doesn't
I'm
matter. You're still not basing it on the fact of somebody that doesn't know anything about writers or anything that's actually creating the actual show. He's just watching because he likes Lord of the Rings, so he says, you know what? I'm going to watch this show not knowing who the fuck the writers are. He's still going to think, okay, there's still a good show to me.
Okay.
I don't know who the writers are, but I like this show, and this show's entertaining me.
I'm telling you, the show would have been better. I consider these shows tier 2 shows. Tier 1 for me is Better Call Saul, Succession, Stranger Things. So for me, those are the best shows on television. Considering House of Dragons is a little bit better right now. I'm not saying it's 100 times better. What I'm saying
Okay,
to you is this: the guy that has already proven that his movies, with half the technology that there is today, right, that he made billions of dollars and won 1,000 Oscars that we all love. They told
so
him
what happens? So what happens if
Leave it in.
What happens? Okay, but what happens if the Rings of Power ends up being a better show to you in your eyes?
Then I'll say it. But I'm telling you that it's like saying to me, hey, the team from Game of Thrones is coming back, the whole team, right? And they're going to do House of Dragons. Then you tell me now, the people that are in Rings of Power, I'll tell you right now, without a doubt, the House of Dragons is going to fucking destroy that show.
Because
But
in your opinion,
no, okay.
In your opinion.
Obviously, this is subjective. It's everybody's opinion.
Oh, okay.
Right? I liked House of Dragon thus far. I've seen 4 episodes total out of both shows, 2 in each, right?
another thing, they cut 10 dicks. That's what you like? They cut the dick part?
I'm not saying I like the
How
dick
small was that fucking town, by the way? Only 10 guys were there. 3 in a wagon and 6 dead or whatever. How small was that stupid ass town?
Maybe
10
they're-
dicks were cut off. That's
maybe-
fucking graphic. That's what you like, a graphic dick cutting.
Maybe they're moving out. Maybe
They're moving out to the dicks. 10 fucking houses with a
Let's
fucking
just
show.
be real. It's a little early for both shows. The time I air this pod, it's going to be already episode 3 is going to happen of House of the Dragon. I think both of them have started slow. Let's just be patient. I think House of Dragon has, I mean, compared to what else is out there this year, it's doing a good job. It looks
Of
great.
course.
It feels great.
Of course.
It feels like Game of Thrones. I'm happy with it. I'm not happy with the music. I don't know why they went with
But
the
that's the
same
thing.
exact score. It's pretty stupid, but
It feels like I'm watching Game of Thrones boring ass
I
episodes.
think they're trying to do too much Game of Thrones again. I would have liked it to feel a little different, and that's one thing Rings of Power is doing. I mean, I don't know. I would never ignore Peter Jackson. That's fucking insane.
If the Lord of the Rings from the movies in the early 2000s were whatever and nobody cared, then I understand what you're saying. But this guy literally made billions and he won tons of awards. Like it was the most famous thing ever. So it was one of the highest rated things ever. And then you're gonna ignore him? And I'm not saying that I'm judging the show on that. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you, obviously, watching what I'm watching now, like you want me to judge in front of you, I'm judging the shit out of it. I know for certain that he would have created a better show, without a doubt in my mind.
I'm sure
and
you're
he's sitting
100%
home
on that.
there with his wife. He's probably going, "I would have made a better show."
I'm sure he would have to give people chances too at the same time. You can't just sit there and just be
yes.
like, it's going to be fucking whack.
Look,
because
and
the
I'm
guy
not
is
saying
there.
that I completely hate Rings.
And
of
at the end of
Power.
the day, I still think that Rings of Power's both episodes are still better than House of Dragons. And I'm a Game of Thrones fanatic. You know, I love Game of Thrones. And what they're doing is like the same shit. I feel like I'm just watching a couple boring ass episodes of Game of Thrones, sitting there talking shit, drinking their wine, and in the same goddamn rooms. That's all I'm watching.
Are you gonna watch
I get the
tonight?
dragon.
The Garden of Betrayal.
I get blue balls. I get the feeling of blue balls when I see the dragon. Fucking dragon. I'm about to bust another. It just goes away. Does nothing.
I mean, I want both of them to be great.
Yeah, of course.
I love watching these kind of shows. I love fantasy shows. They're expensive to make. They're hard to make.
All right, what do you give this show overall? What do you give House of Dragons and Lord of the
Look,
Rings?
right
thus
now,
far?
House of Dragons for the 2 episodes, I'm giving it an 8. I like the way it's going. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it tonight. They set up 2 episodes. This episode's supposed to have a lot of action. Supposed to have shit go down. Let's see if it just does the same shit again.
what's
If
gonna
it
go
does
down?
the same
Another
shit again,
horse scene?
I don't know, the crab people. If it does the same shit again, then I'm gonna be
such
like
a stupid villain.
Then I'm gonna be like, all right, I don't care. If they just do the walking around, talking, drinking, Rings of Power, same shit. I'm the same thing with Rings of Power. I'll give it like a 7 right now. That starts a little slower to me. I mean, even the acting's okay too. You're saying you don't like the acting.
I know you like
It's very
it.
epic.
What they're gonna start doing in the hospitals when people have to go to surgery, they're gonna put, instead of anesthesia, they're gonna put Rings of Power. Yeah. And they're gonna be like that. They're gonna be able to do full operation on them because how deep. They're gonna need the fucking wax hand. Whoa. All right. I would say House of Dragon. I gave it an 8, the first one, the 6.5. So I'm gonna meet in the middle. I'm gonna say 7. I would say Rings of Power. I'm gonna give it about a 6, 5.5, 6. I'm not saying that Rings of Power is gonna be better at the end or House. I have no idea, and neither do any of you. So
If I had to pick, it would be Power of Rings, Rings of Power, Power of Ring, whatever. Right? I would give it like a 6, and How to Train Your Dragon Toothless, I give that show probably like a 2.
Jack better fucking pray to God that fucking Rings of Power is wowing everybody, because I'm coming with the notes that I'm coming. I'm gonna need a fucking, I'm gonna need a fucking printer here to print out my notes. How many notes are that?
I don't think the show's good. I just gave it a 6.5.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a phenomenal show.
I think we all agree that it's like a tier 2. It's not like Stranger Things or
Fuck no, it's not like Stranger Things.
Even The Boys. I don't think it's better than The Boys.
It's not better than The Boys to me
I don't
either.
think it's
I'm
better
not
than The
sitting there
Boys.
like, I cannot wait for the Rings of Power to come out. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just thinking that it's a lot better than the piece of shit DreamWorks.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Labor Day and go fuck yourself. No. I'm kidding.